twice the size of England.
Just one day after the recent Alberta ad was unleashed online, those behind the campaign are admitting error on one front.
We did make a mistake. It's actually a size a little larger than one England. And we're going to go back into the studio and make that change.
But the province says even the adjusted claim is far too big, especially because more companies are moving to what's called in situ extractions. The process happens underground, leaving the surface untouched.
The area that's actually being disturbed is about 0.2% of that. It's nowhere near the size of England. In fact, it's not even the size of London. Every day, the tar sands leak nearly 3 million gallons of poison into the water system.
Corporate Ethics International defends this number, citing Alberta University professors, the Pembina Institute, and environmental groups as sources. But there's debate over whether these toxins are limited to tailings ponds.
We're talking about primarily rivers, streams, that are surrounding the tar sands toxic lakes.
But we found absolutely no evidence of that. There's been extensive testing, and it's against the law for them to allow any leaching from the ponds. The Alberta tar sands are the fastest growing source of greenhouse gas emissions in Canada.
Campaigners said this statistic comes from Environment Canada, and the province doesn't disagree. But the Premier's office maintains the reason emissions rates are rising is because Alberta is turning out more and more oil to meet market demands.
Yes, the volume is growing, but the intensity is shrinking.
Well, at the end of the day, it's the amount of emissions that matters.
As the PR battle wages on, at least one group is offering its own solution. In the fall, Alberta Enterprise Group will launch a free iPhone app to spread its own pro-oil sands message.
What we've done is prepared the information in, I guess, more bite-sized pieces.
Jessica Earl, CTV News, Edmonton.
He was sentenced to life just 3 years ago for shooting his daughter's boyfriend. But today, Kim Walker is out of jail awaiting a new trial.
To everybody for all the help and the kindness that they have shown me. How are you feeling today, Mike? A little more hopeful. Thank you.
Walker stopped to talk to the media as he left a Regina courtroom on bail. Walker was convicted in 2007 of killing James Hayward, a man he blamed for his daughter's morphine addiction. The conviction was overturned because during his trial, the judge met with the prosecution and defense without Walker present, something that's not allowed. An update now on the vicious attack on a woman at a Toronto cemetery this week. The man arrested in the case appeared in court Thursday. 44-year-old Russell Kirkpatrick is charged with aggravated sexual assault and attempted murder. The 61-year-old victim was attacked on Monday while visiting her mother's grave. She was dragged off a path and forced into a wooded area. Police say the assault was so severe she was left unconscious. Sources tell CTV News a tip from the public played a pivotal role in the arrest. A Calgary mother who killed her teenage daughter will not have to serve any jail time. Aset Magomedova was charged with murder but was convicted of manslaughter. A judge has handed her a suspended sentence and 3 years probation. CTV's Reg Hampton reports.
Aset Magomedova left court a free woman. She hasn't spoken publicly in the 3 years since killing her daughter, and today was no different.
You have anything to say now that this is over?
Magomedova was charged with murdering her 14-year-old daughter Aminat in 2007, but she was convicted of manslaughter. The 39-year-old told court Aminat attacked her with a chair and threatened her with a knife before she strangled the girl with a scarf. She testified Aminat never really adjusted to life in Canada and got in trouble with the law and drugs. The judge rejected self-defense but decided against jail time, saying that would be more about vengeance than justice. Instead, Magomedova will be on probation for 3 years. Justice Sal Lovecchio says while this may seem like a get-out-of-jail-free card, he says it is not. If Magomedova violates any of the conditions of her probation, she'll be ordered back to court and sentenced to time behind bars. The Crown lawyer who asked for 12 years in jail believes the ruling will be controversial.
The way it has wrote this case is going to be a wide range of discussion, a lot of commentary, and it's an area that deserves to be well discussed.
The defense says Magomedova has already suffered greatly. Her husband was killed by a bomb in Chechnya, and their only other child, a teenage boy, has a terminal illness.
There didn't see any need in this case for this woman with her background. That prison would accomplish anything, and the law allows for what the judge did. And he chose a suspended sentence with 3 years probation. There will be strict terms. I'm sure she'll abide by them.
Since arriving in Canada as a refugee, Magamadova has been sponsored by a church group, which also wanted no jail time.
She has been through so much, and she has to live with this the rest of her life, and she is not a danger to the public at all.
Reg Hampton, CTV News, Calgary.
It was a dramatic rescue that played out on a massive BC cliff. It happened in daylight as people stood by and watched. As CTV's Norma Reed reports, you could hear the whispers of bystanders asking, what was he thinking?
It's always a bit unnerving when you see helicopters flying over there.
Nobody knows the Squamish chief better than Tim Emmett. One of the world's best base jumpers watched yesterday's dramatic rescue right from his window. He says it should have never happened.
The guy was base jumping at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, what? That is crazy. This is jumping into the cave.
Take that from a guy who knows.
That outfit cost $1 million.
From commercials to jumping off the very same cliff that nearly cost a man his life yesterday, Emmett has seen and done it all. He says the chief is a technical jump to pull off, one that shouldn't be attempted when it's windy. A team of rescuers had to orchestrate a delicate operation when his jumper was blown back into the cliff.
This is 99% human error. He really shouldn't have been there, and it's irresponsible for him to, put the rescuers at the risk that they have, really.
RCMP say it's not illegal to base jump from the chief. And if you talk to a lot of people, they say that's why it's so popular to do it here.
And it's not just base jumpers. These rock climbers traveled all the way from Colorado to take in the chief.
I'm from the United States where everything's illegal, so it's sort of nice to have a little break,
Squamish is a top adventure sport destination, but the rescue still shook some to the core.
When we found out it was a base jumping accident, we were all kind of like, there's only one way that base jumping accidents end.
How come you don't base jump?
It's scary.
Remarkably, the 27-year-old is only suffering from a leg fracture.
The most important thing is that he's okay, but it's a tough lesson to be learned, I think.
The expert advice, no matter how tempting it may be to fly, sometimes it's best to walk away. Norma Reed, CTV News, Squamish.
In Vancouver, an old debate is heating up over what kind of animals should be kept in captivity. A top city official wants to put the issue to a vote just weeks after a young whale died at the Vancouver Aquarium. CTV's Bob Rock reports.
It's a hot-button issue that's been debated for decades. Should mammals like the ones at the Vancouver Aquarium be kept in captivity?
I believe that keeping these gorgeous mammals in captivity is cruel.
Less than a month after the death of the youngest whale here, Vancouver Park Board Commissioner Stuart McKinnon is proposing a referendum.
But my motion is not about the morality or the ethics of this. It's about giving the people the opportunity to speak.
McKinnon wants Vancouver residents to weigh in on the issue, and plenty of them did on Bill Good's radio show today.
It really relates to what makes us unique on the West Coast, and it'd be a shame to see it go. I think this is just political grandstanding. Should be ashamed of themselves.
No one from the aquarium was available for comment today, but in a brief statement, officials say they strongly oppose the idea.
The aquarium's lease with Stanley Park is up in 5 years, and the city could make the banning of whales and dolphins a condition of its renewal. News anti-captivity activists have been waiting for.
The educational value of being up close to a big animal is really basically a thrill. It is not true education.
Reaction from people outside the aquarium today was mixed.
So there's not enough space in an aquarium for a dolphin or a large mammal like that to exist and be happy.
Bill's in Alaska, we've seen the belugas, but to see them up close like this, you get a different appreciation.
They should be outfree allowed.
McKinnon says he has the support of 2 of the board's 6 members, which means he has to convince just 1 more commissioner to give the motion a green light. Val Bratch, CTV News, Vancouver.
Beginning today, drivers in Manitoba are banned from using handheld cell phones while behind the wheel. Police are on the lookout for anyone breaking the new law. Those who do could be fined almost $200. Drivers can still use cell phones as long as they're hands-free. Several other provinces, including Ontario and Nova Scotia, already have similar laws on the books. Coming up, is Facebook fueling divorce? Lawyers say the site is increasingly being blamed in ugly breakups. We'll talk to a relationship expert about Facebook's link to infidelity. Also ahead, Apple's woes. iPhone 4 owners will be tuning in Friday, but will Steve Jobs offer up a solution for a product some want recalled?
You are watching CTV News Channel. It begins with a brushstroke. A simple yet powerful line. Uniting engineering and emotion. Connecting driver to road. Separating infinity from every other luxury car in the world.